G'day folks, here's my March collection update. G'day folks, welcome back to the channel. It's a somewhat grey Good Friday here today. As I'm a childish metalhead, I've got my one of my best Blasphemous t-shirts on for good old Armoured Angel. Would have been Impaled Nazarene, but I couldn't find either of my shirts, but oh well. So yeah, it's a bit of a grey, rainy sort of day. It is supposed to be a thunderstorm today, I believe, so yeah, this may be recorded in pieces because we have a tin roof here and it gets kind of loud if it rains heavily, so yeah, we'll see what happens. My beer of choice today is Oud Beer Sales Old Goose Viel, however the hell you pronounce that, which is a yummy sour, and I actually have the right glass for once, so cheers. I love me some sours, and the Belgians do the best. First up are a couple I got from Radical Blars, so thanks again Brad for your always quality service. First up is Viscera Infest with live at Asakusa Deathfest 2017, which is a festival in Japan. Yeah, Viscera Infest are very brutal Japanese kind of death grind kind of band. Very heavy, very much in the early Discord sort of style. And yeah, this is just a live recording. I think it's like just one track, plus a bonus track. It's about 16 minutes long or something or other like that. So it's about 4 or 5 of their own songs. And this is, I think, the first recording with their, they've got a bassist now, one of the guitarists left, and they've now got a bassist. So there's a slightly better, well, better... subjectively sound than their albums, because their albums are like super tinny sounding. It's weird sort of sound. I'm a big fan of theirs. I love all their stuff. I've got it all pretty much. So but yeah, I think the bass will help. I'm very much looking forward to hearing more studio recordings, because yeah, this is still a live recording. It's probably not essential unless you're a diehard fan. Yeah, it's pretty good quality. Laugh factor. They've got one song that it's I think it's like one word. It's obviously a whole lot of medical conditions rammed together or something. It's about 200 letters long. It starts with the word diffuse, and the singer does this hilarious intro that I think I've seen him on a video do it as well. It's this sort of, I don't know if he's actually saying the word or just sort of slobbering and slurping and snorting, and it's hilarious. Yeah, that really helps it. The one sort of, I think this came out on tape first and didn't have the extra track, but this is a CD version, so that's fine by me. The one extra track's like about 1.5 minutes, but sounds bloody killer. So it's macular dystrophy, I think it's called. It's the usual craziness. Thankfully, one of the highlights of this band is the drums, because you got to watch video of these guys. He's hilarious. He's a very enthusiastic drummer and very good as well, but he just, that's great. And yeah, he comes through really nicely on this. I'm happy with that. So all around, pretty bloody excellent release. Got to say, I hate these friggin' cardboard ones, because it's always a bit of a prick getting them out. Probably scratches the shit out of them as well, but anyway. And plus, it also came with a bonus patch of their cockroach mosh style, which, yeah, I think also if you watch footage, the crowd lies on their back like cockroaches for some reason, so oh well. But yeah, if you like your death metal and grind sort of pretty damn brutal, I'll definitely check these guys out. I mean, probably their actual albums would be wiser, but, and thankfully this doesn't have a totally horrendous album cover like most of their albums do, but oh well. Viscera Infest, kick-ass band. Also from Radical Blarsk is Sulfuric Cautery with their, what's it called, Suffocating Feats of Dehumanization. This came out on 625 Productions. Good work, Max. Yeah, these guys are American, bloody hyper-fast gore grind sort of band. Very much in the Last Days of Humanity, Putrefaction in Progress sort of style. It's just gross, but beautifully gross, and very fast. From the look of this, it's they've quite a different lineup to the previous album. Chainsaws clogged with the underdeveloped brain matter of xenophobes, which was a killer album. But yeah, it looks like they've lost the 2 vocalists that they had and the guitarist, and so it's still Isaac on drums from about a billion other bands, and some guy called V on guitar and vocals now. So it still sounds pretty bloody similar, but actually this has a better sound than the Chainsaws one, I think. It's a bit... Chainsaws, the drums are just a bit too loud. This is a bit more balanced, which it's a bit of a wank talking about balanced when you consider the actual music. That's just totally over the top craziness. But yeah, just nasty, nasty gore grind. Very fast sort of songs. They don't muck around, that's for sure. That's pretty quick, but yeah, kick-ass album. So yeah, I definitely recommend the old Sulfuric Cautery. Up next is one of my favourite bands. This is Katatonia with Sky Void of Stars. I got this off the band's website, I think so. Omerge or whatever they are. I think they're actually on Napalm Records now. It's no longer on Peaceville, which is a bit sad, but seem to be doing well. But yeah, this is bloody killer. Sounds a lot fuller than City Burials. I'm pretty sure City Burials, I think I remember reading it was like going to be a Jonas, like the singer's solo album. And then they sort of, I don't know, Katatonia'd it up a bit and made it a bit heavier and so on. So it never, I mean, it's a great album, but this one I think is way better, to tell the truth. Usually with Katatonia, their albums take a while to kick in. This one, instant. Oh yeah, that's killer. This one took bloody ages to arrive. I'm not sure why, but maybe I got the fancy version or something that they didn't get immediately. But yeah, I'd seen it in Landspeed for like at least a month before mine arrived, so I was tempted going, no, don't buy it, it's coming in the mail. But yeah, this is an amazing album, I reckon. It still sounds pretty much like Katatonia, but it seems to have bigger choruses, bigger sort of, not quite sing-along, but dramatic stuff. I love it. I mean, it's interesting though, the second song, Colossal Shade, actually sounds like Ghost to me a bit, like the Swedish band Ghost. I don't know, just the start sort of lumbering kind of little riff. But Jonas sounds bloody killer on this singer. I think he must have had, I reckon in the last couple of years he's had even more singing lessons, because this album and also City Burials one before it, it's just sounded a bit better than he had in the past. I don't know, maybe he pulled his finger out or something, I don't know, but yeah, this is awesome. I love the, there's like this sort of trumpet keyboardy kind of sound on, what's it called, Opaline, really nice bass as well. This is a really good sort of mix of songs. It's got your sort of faster, fuller kind of sound ones like Birds. Author is one of my highlights, got an awesome chorus and some nice sort of double bass. Yeah, it's just lots of big rock songs that just would go down great live. Can't wait to see these guys again. I hope they come back to Australia. Last year, well, they came last year for Dark Mofo, which you can see in my review, which I'll put a link to. But yeah, that was like a pretty short set with a stand-in guitarist, so I don't think we've got any songs off this. They're all older songs. Can't wait to see these songs live. It's even got a slight sort of callback to Discouraged ones, I reckon, on Atrium. And yeah, pretty much every song's killer on it. No Beacon to Illuminate Our Fall is I think the last song on the record version at any rate. It's got a killer heavy slow riff, but they should use it more often. It's just, I don't know. One thing that amuses me is there's at least two, possibly more, bits where the drummer does, you can pretty much just hear him. It's sort of in between before a big riff kicks in. He does sort of like the Phil Collins, like do-do-do-do-do-do-do, from whatever that bloody Phil Collins song he starts that iconic drum bit. Just reminds me of that every time I hear it. It's yeah, it's probably not what they were going for, but oh well. Also bought the CD, of course, because I'm a complete fanboy. Although it also comes with this gigantic friggin' fold out with the lyrics. Maybe they're just thinking that Katatonia fans are all it's massive. Maybe they're thinking we're all that old that we need a large print lyric sheet. I don't know. And amusingly, my version, this is the clear vinyl version, comes with the two sides are labelled as the C side. I did work it out because the lyrics are pretty obvious, but yeah, it's just got the wrong sticker on it. But hey, misprint could be worth millions. Probably not. But yeah, this album's already in my top 5 of the year and may well be my top 1 of the year. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I've listened to this a heap so far and it's killer. Really bloody awesome. Up next, a big batch that I got from Total War Records, which is an excellent distro up in Brisbane. Highly recommended. First up, I got Violation Wound with Dying to Live, Living to Die. This is a Chris Reifert from Autopsy band. He plays guitar and vocals in this. They're a punk sort of band essentially. Sounds quite a bit like early Abscess, and also very much like Eat My Fuck, which was another punk spin-off that he used to be in with like Danny, also from Abscess and Autopsy, and some other dudes that I'm sure were also probably an Abscess and Autopsy. Yeah, he mostly uses his sort of, it's not the full Autopsy growl on this. It is occasionally, but it's mostly a sort of more aggro, punky sort of voice. It's not quite as sleazy as Eat My Fuck, because yeah, I'm not going to put their album cover up because it's, yeah, a little wrong, but yeah, I do love those guys. That was, Eat My Fuck is very much more a G.G. Allen influence, whereas this is, I don't know, it's kind of like a Black Flag meets Motorhead sort of style. So it's short, pretty catchy songs. Most of them are like, under 2 minutes. Yeah, just really good fun with rifled vocals, so you can't go wrong. So yeah, I think this came out on Peaceful. They've got at least another album of theirs on theirs. My rifled collection of these guys is a bit lacking actually. There's heaps of 7-inches that I missed, so feeling a bit sad about that. I might have to fix that, but yeah, this is one of their better albums. Yeah, Violation Wound. Also from Total War Records was Gorment with The Ending Quest. This is an old Swedish death metal band. This is their one and only album they did in like 94, I think it originally came out. This is a recent Osmos reissue, but yeah, pretty killer stuff actually. Very much traditional sort of Swedish death metal style. It's got your obvious, Entombed and Dismember feelings to it, but it also has, I don't know, it sounds like Amorphous, like early Amorphous quite a bit to me. It's partly some of the sort of melody kind of styles to it, but I think a lot of it's the vocals and the sort of phrasing is very similar to early Amorphous. It's also got a Paradise Lost feel in parts, which is no big surprise considering one of the dudes is wearing a shirt on the back cover, but and yeah, so the doomy bits on this really are more effective than the faster bits for me. They do get to sort of blast level speeds at times, but sounds a bit clunky in parts, whereas the doomy stuff sounds morbid and nice. I love the slow doom and classic, church bell sort of style on, what is it, Human Relic, I think. There is actually, I already had this ages ago on CD, which is a compilation released by Necroharmonic and Morbid Wrath, which has this whole album plus like a demo and a couple of EPs and promos or something or other. Not sure why those aren't bunged on here, but I guess there's only so much space on a record, so this version actually would be more tempting if you haven't heard them before, because it has all nice, liner notes and everything, and pictures of the, old pictures and flyers and stuff like that. There's also I think Century Media also released this, like a compilation with all of their stuff, with possibly even more than the Necroharmonic version. I have no idea on the quality of that, but whatever it is, this sounds killer. So I'm very happy to have this on record, even though, I have a feeling the original one was on some, crappy little label that ripped them off or just gave them no exposure and folded. So it was not an easy thing to find. So, but yeah, killer old Swedish death metal, which I can never get enough of, to tell the truth. And these guys are amazing. Plus, they also probably recognise that the logo looks quite a bit like Bloodbath's logo. So I think they are fans as well, as you'd imagine. So yeah, excellent Swedish death metal. Moving from Sweden down to Denmark, we have the new album from Frenelov. This is Chimera. This is actually came out in 2021, but I've been waiting for the record version, mainly because this cover art is so killer. This is Timo Katola, rest in peace, killer artist and all-around good bloke who did the cover art to this and a batch of other things. So you even get a nice poster of the full deal, which looks terrible with my lighting, so sorry about that, but yeah, well worth it. So yeah, I've actually had a digital version of this for bloody ages, but it's nice to get it on record. Yeah, this is very dark, sort of quite complex death metal. It's got David from Undergang on guitar and vocals, as well as members of Kayushin and Sequestrum. I think the highlights for me are the Chimera and Offsprings Part 1 and Part 2, which are go very well together, even though they're 5 or 6 songs apart for some reason. Yeah, on this both guitarists sing, and I assume the echoey throaty one is the other guy Simon, and the deep one is David from Undergang, because yeah, it's pretty rumbly vocals normally. So, but yeah, it's a great combination on this, just dark churning death metal, and yeah, not much more you can say. Killer stuff. Next up is Hyperdontia with Deranged. This is also from Total War Records and actually came out on Masako. Yeah, these guys are a Danish and Turkish band. There's like 2 members are Danish, 2 members are Turkish, I think. They used to also have David from Undergang on vocals, but he's left, so it's now, I think, one of the guitarists singing. It's somewhat dramatic album cover, as you can see. Rapidly sold on that. I didn't quite realise it was like 17 minutes long, but oh well. So yeah, not the longest, but it's a good punchy sort of death metal. It's very much, you kind of straightforward, pretty damn fast death metal. You sort of Morbid Angel-y kind of style. Actually sounds sort of like death metal Slayer to me, if anything, in parts. It's just, I don't know, certain riffs or styles that just reminded me of kind of like mid-era Slayer, but obviously a lot death metal-ier. Nice loud bass on this, which is really well played as well. So yeah, I saw these guys at Eternal Warfare Fest, I think. But unfortunately, one of the guitarists, I think the Turkish guitarist, couldn't get in the country for some reason. So yeah, they only, I think maybe they had a fill-in. I don't know. They were still killer, but I think it could have been more killer. But yeah, I like these guys. So yeah, Danish death metal, Danish and Turkish death metal. So yeah, good stuff. The death metal onslaught from Total War Records continues with Triumvirfau. I'm never quite sure if I'm pronouncing that, but I don't care. These guys are American. This is actually members of Ashborer, which is atmospheric black metal sort of band. This is them doing death metal. And pretty bloody well, I gotta say. It's got a slight sort of black metal feel to it at times. It's sort of barbaric kind of style of death metal, but I always love their really dark covers. And honestly, as far as unreadable logos go, this is a bloody killer one. I don't know, there's just something stylish about it. You can't read it, but it's stylish. Love it. But yeah, over the years, they have morphed from a pretty much straight death metal band to a bit more Black Deathy kind of style. Nice sort of atmospheric doom sections as well. So this is my first actual, I don't know, I think I got a CD of one of their EPs or something or other as well. But yeah, I've always liked their covers as well. They're really dark and gloomy sort of looking. Bloody good, great stuff. But yeah, just more killer death metal. This came out on Invictus Productions last year, I think, so I was glad to finally track this one down, so thanks again, Total War. And last but not least from Total War is Astriferous, I assume that's how you pronounce it, with, what is it, Pulsations from the Black Orb. I don't know, I'm a sucker for anything that comes out on Misako with real spiffy cover art, and yeah, I wasn't disappointed at all with this one. This is just pretty straight death metal, sort of some Morbid Angel Covenant kind of vibes to it in parts. But yeah, this is my first Costa Rican metal band that I've owned anything of. I can't say I knew much about the Costa Rican scene, and I still don't really. Although looking through Metal Archives, they got plenty of bands with, yeah, this one that I'll put a picture of up, kind of sticking out for somewhat obvious reasons. It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, this is killer sort of stuff, gloomy looking dudes standing around in the bush. Love it. Yeah, just pretty straight death metal. I think Ominous and Malevolent is probably my favourite song on here, but Symmetries That Shouldn't Be is a nice sort of doomy end to it as well. So I think this is their first album. I think there was an EP that I didn't actually get, so I might have to track that one down as well. So yeah, just, I don't know, good fun death metal. Can't go too wrong with that. So yeah, and yeah, look at that cover art, bloody awesome. I'm kind of surprised they didn't bung a logo on there, but they made up for it on the back. So yeah, good stuff. Next up is an album I got from Overuse in Tasmania. This is Ifernach with The Green Enchanted Forest of the Druid Wizard. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. This is someone's life work, probably. Yeah, this is a 2023 repress from Tour de Garde. I think this came out on Go to War X first. This is the fourth album from a one-man black metal band from Canada that, yeah, I'm growing to quite enjoy it, to tell the truth, despite their somewhat humorous names. Yeah, he's produced like 6 albums in 7 years or something or other, so he's going well. I didn't really know much about this band until recently. I think Simon from Explosive Action mentioned them, and so I checked out, I think, the album after this, Capitulation of All Life, which, wow, bloody blew me away. It was killer. So yeah, I'm still trying to track that down on record, but yeah, I saw this one and grabbed it and thought, yeah, what the hell. This is a bit more mellow, I think, than the Capitulation one. That was a bit more straightforward, Gorgorothy kind of style, whereas This one, I mean, this has some pretty damn Burzum-y sounding parts in it. It would kind of rival him for atmosphere at times. But yeah, there's a batch of mellow instrumentally sort of bits, and the start of, what is it, Tenem Later sounds very much like Night Side of Eden from Disembowelment. I mean, it doesn't have the female vocals or anything, but I don't know, just something similar to the sound. But yeah, I'm really quite enjoying these guys. Might have to track down a bit more, I think. Although honestly, this album, especially compared to Capitulation, this is just lacking in actual metal songs. Really, there's just a hell of a lot of mellow bits in it. But yeah, still, when they get metal, they get bloody good, and the mellow bits are pretty cool. So I'm not complaining, but yeah, it's an interesting quality band. Up next is a tape I got from Inner City Uprising. This is the Three Graves compilation, which has got Eat Flesh, Scrubber, and Parasitic Equilibrium, which is the main reason why I bought it. But to tell the truth, I've barely listened to it because my tape player doesn't work, but I'm an idiot and still bought it anyway. I think I got suckered by the, only 100 made sort of thing, and I do very much like Parasitic Equilibrium, but I've no idea what their song on this sounds like. So yeah, the only one it actually comes with the download of the Scrubber side of things. There's a Ronald McDonald on the Eat Flesh. And Scrubber stuff was essentially just noise with a woman screaming over the top of it. Not really my thing, to tell the truth, but when you get stickers and stuff, you get a Scrubber. Sydney Power Electronics, probably doesn't show very well. And Bizarre, Beware, the Reserve Bank is stealing my money apparently. Naughty buggers. So yeah, I have no idea what this sounds like, other than the Scrubber songs that, yeah, it's not my thing. So yeah, I'll put this in the drawer with all the other tapes that I haven't listened to yet, and one day get my tape player fixed, so we'll see what happens. Up next are a couple of releases I got from Sphere of Apparition, which is also in Queensland, I think. Good little distro, and also a label, because this is one of their new releases that they put out themselves. This is kind of a compilation of tracks of Oni. It's an old South Australian death metal band, members of what are they called, Slaughter Thou, and yeah, it's also Martyr and so on. Yeah, they were a reasonably short-lived death metal band with obviously with Japanese themes to them. Yeah, killer stuff. This is a compilation of their, I think, like an EP they put out, maybe a split as well that they put out. So it's only really 9 tracks, some of which are intros. It's not exactly extensive career, but yeah, no, they were a killer band, and I was glad to pick this one up. Comes with a nice sort of thrash collage kind of look to it, and lyrics and everything. Ooh, I went to some of those gigs. Yeah, they were a sort of a dark death metal sort of style, twisting sort of riffs. It's fairly obvious that Don used to be in Martyr as well, because there's a good sort of chunk of Martyr sound to them, the barbaric sort of, roots. But yeah, as I said, it has a Japanese theme, which they use sort of mostly in the intros and outros and lyrics, obviously. It's probably not the easiest thing to incorporate, traditional Japanese music into the actual core of the nasty death metal songs. So they still managed to do it quite well. Always loved the there's a sliding breakdown in Seppuku Blade, which works really well. But yeah, just killer heavy death metal. I did see these guys a couple of times, including one at Bloodlust Festival, which I put a flyer up of, which was an amazing festival. It was an unfortunate year that Incantation had a car accident beforehand, and or the day before, and had to play with replacement drummers, one of whom actually, the drummer on this is Matt Butt, who was also in Dark Lord and Stargazer for a while. I don't think he played with Incantation, but he played with Funerus, their other band that was touring at the same time, whose also drummer was the same Incantation guy that got in a car accident, couldn't play. But yeah, he's bloody killer on this as well. He's a very good drummer. But yeah, these guys, when they played, I don't think they'd been playing live for very long. So they started as a 5-piece, and then slowly sort of worked their way down to a 3-piece as the band members dropped off that, didn't know the later songs that they were playing. It was kind of amusing, but yeah, they sounded killer. So yeah, I was very glad that this sort of, retrospective was released, and it's probably still available, so yeah, check it out. Also from Sphere of Apparition was this 10-inch from Cruciamentum with
their Convocation of Crawling Chaos. This came out on Nuclear Winter Records, and killer little EP. This is actually their 2009 demo pressed on vinyl, which I think I might have on CD somewhere as well, so probably shouldn't have bought this, but what the hell. So yeah, it's only really 3 songs and an outro sort of thing. But yeah, it's just more dark death metal, which is fine by me. They have a really great use of slow double bass on this that works really well. And their slower death doomy sort of bits work a lot better than the faster bits on this that are just kind of clunky, especially one of the blast sections of was it Rotten Flesh Crucifix. Just doesn't really work all that great. I do prefer this though to their Engulfed in Desolation EP, which has just got this ridiculously loud bass that's so distracting. So far they only have one album, Charnel Passages, which is bloody killer. But I still kind of prefer the kind of rawness, and I don't know. This is marginally, it's a bit less intense, which is kind of better actually, because it's just a bit more interesting. I do believe they're back together now, so I think they had a split for a while or weren't producing anything, so hopefully we'll get some more from them. I got lucky and saw these guys at MDF one year. It was, like in America, it was I think 2013, it was a year that Down played, like the Phil Anselmo band. And that year they were just ridiculously tight on security, and so there were the massive queues to get in. I think we'd been at a different venue and just wandered up to the main venue as a group of Aussies, and we just went to the front to ask. I think we already had been in. We had wristbands and everything. We just went to ask, do we have to queue up for this? And they just went, yeah, come on in. And it was totally bypassed the queue that I'm pretty sure we shouldn't have. But yeah, we got to see Christian Venom in the tent. I think it was in the tent. And yeah, could have sounded better, but it was bloody killer to see him. So yeah, this is a good little British band. Quite enjoy these guys. And yeah, look at that cover art. Bloody awesome. Up next is one I got from Aesthetic Death. This is Esoteric with Esoteric Emotions, The Death of Ignorance. This is a fairly legendary British funeral doom sort of band. This is their first demo from, I don't know, ages ago. It's probably the longest demo I've got at 1 hour and 17 minutes long. It's a tad ridiculous, but yeah, they kind of, they have some long albums anyway, so it's not that crazy. This is quite a different style to their their later years. It's a bit more death doomy sort of style. The vocals are mostly a deep sort of death sort of growl with maybe a bit processed, I think. Sounds a bit fiddled with. There's also some somber sort of spoken word stuff. It's the same vocalist, but yeah, he sounds a lot better on the later albums. This is still pretty friggin' slow, but it kind of lacks that sort of constant lead sort of style that they use in their later albums. That gives it that weird sort of psychedelic feel. It kind of sounds. They go fast on this quite a bit in it, and sometimes it just sounds kind of weird and doesn't work so well, to tell the truth. I mean, their later albums still have fast bits on them as well, but they write them a lot better than they did on this. It's just a bit clunky. They're obviously in their experimental phase when doing this, and it didn't all work. But what the hell. I suspect they were maybe a bit familiar with Disembowelment by this stage, because there was a certain clean sort of sound that just reminded me quite a bit of Disembowelment. But I do love the mid-paced groove on Enslavers of the Insecure, which works great until they then kind of clunk at it and go too fast, and it sounds shit, but oh well. I think pretty sure it goes back to a nice, tough sort of riff after that anyway, so Scarred's probably the highlight on here. It sounds a bit more like the Future sort of style, but yeah, all in all, pretty killer. I'm very looking forward to seeing these guys. They're touring Australia in June, so I'll put a flyer up because I'll be at the Canberra show for sure. I think it's going to be a punishing set. I think I'm pretty sure they're learning 90 minutes of music for it. So yeah, sorry fellas, I might be sitting down for some of that time because I'm old and unfit. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. It's going to be punishing, I reckon, because they got a lot of killer albums. So yeah, bloody awesome. Very much like this band, and this is I think the last thing I need of theirs on vinyl until they release something new. So yeah, my Esoteric collection's going well. Up next are a couple of second-hand albums I got from Bad Habit Records, also from Queensland. First up is Fiesta Comes Alive, which is a compilation of a shitload of bands that played 5 Fiesta Grande gigs in San Francisco at the legendary 924 Gilman. I know most of these bands from their other releases and so on. This came out on Slapperham Records, which is Chris Dodge from Spaz's label that put out a ton of good stuff. And most of these bands, they're obviously all in the same sort of scene. Vast majority of it's either like power violence or grind, but there's some sludge stuff on here as well. A good killer combination of that sort of style. I did know most of the bands, but I was quite impressed with Bludgeon and Nuclear Armed Hogs, who I didn't already know. So them using an anti-Nazi song called, what is it, Nazis Shouldn't Drive by MDC on here that has got a funny intro. And it also has my favourite song of Dystopia, the song Backstabber, which is a bloody killer live version as well. And for live stuff, this is songs taken from all 5 gigs, but yeah, the sound is surprisingly good on this. I mean, some of them it's a bit shithouse, but what's to be expected. The Agents of Satan song, another band I'm not overly familiar with, starts off with someone, I think, in the band whinging about a friend being kicked out of the gig, and then it's just loud, crazed vocals over what just sounds like drum and bass. So I might have to check out more of those guys. It sounds quite promising. The Sludge song by Cattle Press is bloody killer on this as well. But yeah, I mean, it's got all your legendary bands: Lack of Interest, Excruciating Terror, No Comment, Protocracy, Discordant Sexes, Phobia, Locust, Enemy Soil, blah blah, Man is a Bastard, Capitalist Casualties, Hell Nation, just all the good stuff. So yeah, I was pleased to see this come up for not that much money. So thanks Bad Habit. Also from Bad Habits was his very second-hand album, Living Death with Protected from Reality. This is an old German kind of, speed metal thrash sort of band. This is pretty bloody battered, I've got to say. It came with a big warning. It was like $15 or something, bloody cheap as. Had a big warning saying it was like well thrashed or something or other like that, and yeah. I've got a few of my old records that are in worse condition than this, probably, just from me thrashing them too much. But yeah, the vinyl itself is it could be a bit cleaner. There's plenty of pops and so on, but hey, turn it up. This is their third album. I wasn't really overly familiar with this band, to tell the truth. It just passed me by for some reason. They got some interesting screechy kind of vocals. I didn't mind, actually. Usually that's one of the things that turns me off on a lot of thrash sort of speed metal bands is the shithouse vocals. Like, I really don't particularly enjoy Nuclear Assault, mainly because of the vocals. But this one sort of works for me. It's mostly fast-paced stuff. It's got a few thrashy kind of bits. I'm never 100% sure what the real difference between thrash and speed metal is anyway, but who cares? There's like a classy instrumental called, what is it called? Sorry, Woods of Necrophiliac, which is kind of slower and has strings and is a bit classier. And the Gallery is a bit of a banger as well. But yeah, I do love the cover art though. It's your classic 80s style of, let's get it without the glare. It's the classic 80s style of, like a scary house. The band's mascot, which is the shadow there. And then, the innocent little kid sitting out the front, unaware of the danger. It's a commonly used style that I always find amusing. Sadly, there's no inner sleeve or lyrics or anything like that, so which is a shame, because I wanted to understand the story of Horrible Infanticide, which is one of the probably decent songs on here. So yeah, I was kind of pleased to pick it up. I don't think I'll listen to it a huge amount because it's probably not doing my stylus very, very much good, but maybe one day I'll get around to getting one of those record washer things and try and get it a bit more spiffy looking. But yeah, well thrashed is very, very accurate. Up next are a couple I got from the Charnel Altar and Endless Loss gig that I reviewed a month ago or so. So check out the review for more extensive ramblings about these bands. I got the Endless Loss, Bloodletting Narcotic Divination demo, and the Charnel Altar, Ablatement of the Sun album. This demo is pretty bloody killer sound, actually. I think it was a fuller sound than their live one. I don't know if I suppose they probably have bass on that because they were a 2-piece live, so it was yeah, a bit messy sounding, you could say. So this is just a nice mixture of black and death with some sort of doomy sections. Yeah, been around since 2016. So yeah, as I said in my review, I'm looking forward to more of these guys. The Channel Alter one is, I was pleased to pick this one up because A, I like the cover art, and B, they bloody impressed live. This is their full album, Ablatement of the Sun. Yeah, I think I confused these guys with Malignant Aura, which is actually a funeral doom band. Because when I went to see them, I kind of expected them to be, full funeral doom, and it was, not. It was sort of like occasionally death doom, but mostly friggin' intense, almost war metal sort of stuff. So yeah, the proper studio version sounds bloody killer as well of these guys. Yeah, this one came out on Swedish label Blood Harvest. It even comes with a fancy Obi strip. Ooh. I kind of find Obi strips a complete wank, to tell the truth, though. I'm not a fan, but oh, what the hell. But yeah, I highly recommend checking these guys out. And I actually also got in this trip, or in this video from Impure Sounds, their demo as well, which has got 4 songs, I think one of which was the clip Acephalic Worms that I put up as well on this channel, so check that one out for a full version of that. But yeah, this is a thick sound. It's just harrowing, I think, is probably the best way to describe this band. The vocals on this are a bit lacking live. They are a lot more intense. I'm not sure if maybe like they never list who the band members are or anything, so God knows who's who. But maybe the I didn't recognise on this demo the sort of raspier sound of the bass player's vocal, so maybe he wasn't in the band at the time, I have no idea. But yeah, this is slightly more straightforward than the album, I would say, but yeah, killer stuff. So yeah, this came out on Impure Sounds. Yeah, 2 kick-ass South Australian bands, good work. Also from Impure Sounds, and one that they released themselves, was Convulsing with Grievous. This is much like Alters. I'd missed this band when they first came out. I don't know why, but yeah, partly because the main dude of this is, I think it's like just a one-man band of Brendan, who's now in Alters as well. Because of that, and also because Simon from Explosive Action talked him up, I thought, yeah, what the hell, I'll check it out. So I haven't actually listened to this in its entirety yet, so I can't really give you that great a review, but it sounds very friggin' complex death metal. It's very much pretty bloody similar to Alters style, really, but yeah, very promising, I gotta say. I'm looking forward to this one, sinking in a bit more. So yeah, sorry for the shitty review, but yeah, I was pleased to get it, and it's way spiffy looking vinyl as well. Usually, I do get suckered by stupid coloured vinyl at times, and this isn't like, whoa, splattery, and that probably looks terrible on camera, but it looks good in person, so who cares. So yeah, Convulsing. The next one I got direct from Profound Lore, who put it out. This is Cruelty with their Untopia album, which is brand spanking. So, yeah, this is a band I saw a couple of months ago, and they're bloody killer live. I think they played a couple of songs off this, so couldn't really tell. But yeah, this is their brand new album. It's interesting. It's not quite. It doesn't seem quite as sort of beat downy, moshcore sort of style compared to the first album. The Dying Truth, or whatever the hell it's called. This one has slightly bit more of a death metal feel to it at parts. I mean, they always were death metal, but just a bit more traditional Swedish death metal sort of style. It's got some pained sort of non-growl vocals that work pretty well, and a bit of gang vocal action as well. It always helps. I think the highlights on this are I think they were the singles as well, like Harder Than Before. It's just got killer bloody groove to it. And Burn the System's killer as well. They have a good use of double bass. Sometimes a sort of, a bit slower, just a perfect mosh sort of speed, I reckon. Yeah, I'm very impressed with this. It doesn't quite grab me as much as the first album, I've got to say, so far, but it's only about 2 or 3 listens in, so I'll give it more of a go. But yeah, good quality Japanese death doom, hardcore, whatever the hell the style they play. And yeah, this one also comes with spiffy looking vinyl that probably will still look pretty reasonable on camera, so yeah. I'm a sucker for anything limited edition. Alright, next up are a couple I got from Spain, from Throne Records, because they put these out. First up we have a reissue of Worms Planispherium, or however the hell you pronounce that. Wormed are a freaking crazy brutal death metal band from Spain. Bloody intense stuff, and this is their first album. They got a heavy science fiction theme with some interesting lyrics that may or may not make sense, but who cares? They enjoy it. This album is with their original drummer Andy, and he's just out of this world crazy good drummer. All his stuff is just mind blowing sort of work. Often it kind of sounds like he's doing something else to the rest of the band, but then it sort of ties back in, and it's like, far out, this guy knows what he's doing. I think voxel mitosis is probably the best example of his just sheer craziness. I also have super deep vocals on this. Phlegathon, or whatever his name is just bloody impressive singer. I think Geodesic Dome is probably the highlight song on this for me. It's just got wacky time changes, a great chugger sort of breakdown. They have that sort of weird combination of brutal death and sort of a bit slammy in parts as well for the real heavy bits. It works. So it's mostly highly, intricate, weird sort of stuff, and then suddenly it's like mega chunky riff. It even has a bit of sort of that cryptopsy slap bass sort of style on it. There is a CD. This is a brand spanking reissue on record that I just couldn't resist. There is a CD version that has their what's it called, Floating Cadaver in the Monochrome demo on it as well, which is pretty good. But this album itself is just amazing, bloody killer band. But speaking of Wormed, the other release I got was their Metaportal EP. I actually mistook this for their second album, whose name I can't remember. One of the covers are somewhat similar looking, you could say. But thankfully I didn't actually already own this. So, this is... I think there was only like 75 of these and maybe 150 of the album put out on vinyl. So, this is their most recent thing. They do actually have this is the most recent studio recording at any rate. They do actually have this split 7-inch with Premises, quality old New York band. But it's just like live or rehearsal tracks that are, a bit average sounding, to tell the truth. But this is the last proper studio with their more recent drummer. And it's pretty bloody impressive as well. They're slightly less crazed, slightly more normal, but still pretty bloody intense stuff. I believe they're actually about to record a new album, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I'd love to see these guys again. I saw them at MDF one year, and I don't know, they started with this, with none of the band on the crowd. It was their time, all the lights went out, and it was obviously the band was about to start. And they just had like, I don't know, it seemed like 5 minutes. I think it's only like 2 minutes or something. Just this science fiction-y, like a computer sort of voice, or just someone reading out some scientific, discovery or something or other, just for like 2 or 3 minutes of crowd just standing around going, huh, what the hell? And then suddenly, blasting into life. And they're friggin' killer live. Very, very powerful. So if you're into brutal death and you don't know Wormed, bloody get onto it. But Planispharium, really, the first album is my favourite by far. But all this stuff's killer. Last but definitely not least is one I got from someone on Facebook, actually. This is Church of Misery with Master of Brutality. This is a doom band from Japan. They've been around for donkey's years. They sing pretty much solely about serial killers, although they always seem to have a cover for some reason. It's got like a Blue Oyster Cult cover on it for some reason. But all their own songs are about serial killers on this. There's like Ed Kemper, Peter Sutcliffe, Herb Mullen, John Wayne Gacy. So... they're like macabre but doom. And obviously they've heard Black Sabbath once or twice, as you may have gathered from the cover art. This is a recent Rise Above reissue that I don't know how recent, but reasonably recently. It's got a couple of extra tracks. It's got the Boston Stanger EP and also a live one as well. This has obviously been remastered because I put this on straight after Cruelty, which is brand new album. This was like way louder, so it was possibly brick wall to buggery. Who knows? It sounds bloody good to me. But this is probably my favourite Church of Misery album, mostly for the song Megalomania. It's like the third song on here about Herb Mullen, and it's one of their faster songs, and just the sort of build up and final riff, I don't know, would give Mr. Iommi a run for his money. I reckon it's just incredible climax to the song. It's the most thumping bloody riff. I've seen these guys 3 times and they've still never played Megalomania, so you guys ever come back to Australia, better friggin' play Megalomania. But yeah, also, it's also interesting as well, like one of the songs on this is Green River, the Green River Killer, who at the time when this was made hadn't been caught, but he now has, so they know who he is. So I'm curious as to whether future issues will have, everyone else has got their name after their song title. I'm wondering if in future he'll have his proper name on there. We'll see. But yeah, the Killer. Yeah. And they definitely don't like being called Stoner on the back. It's got this little bit down the bottom which reads as, "We hate trend, we hate corporate attitude, we hate the word stoner, death to false stoners, let there be doom." Serious chaps, but yeah, this lineup was a good one as well. They're always bloody changing guitarists and singers and so on. So the bass player, I think, has been there forever, but this one, I like the singer a lot on this. It sounds cool. The live track on here, Lucifer Rising's alright, but yeah, it's really Megalomania. I mean, California's bloody killer as well. So yeah, I think the original version cover art of this is a John Wayne Gacy picture, or I don't know if it's by him or of him, but yeah, I'd probably prefer that than the obvious Sabbath rip-off, but yeah, what are you going to do? And yeah, another friggin' Obi strip. I should throw it out, but yeah. I don't like Obi strips, but I can't bring myself to throw that sort of shit out. So, but yeah, this is just kill that bloody Doom band. Really is kind of stoner Doom, but yes, I very much enjoy these guys. Yeah, I'm looking forward to. I don't know if they're putting a new album out anytime soon, but yeah, they kick ass. I also wanted to thank Paul from Grim Reaper, who sent me this CD for free. I haven't actually had a chance to listen to it yet, so I'll review it in the April arrivals. Plus, it did actually come in April, so it's not. I shouldn't even be mentioning it in this one, but yeah, thanks for that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, quite a decent collection of them out there. I think I'll gonna have to move some records around to try and fit it all on my shelves, which is not a good thing, but still kind of fun. So yeah, I have a couple more record label, favourite from this record label videos coming up soon, I think. So the British comedy one I mentioned, the last one's still in the works, but the record label ones I'm hoping to get done over this long weekend. So yeah, keep an eye out for those ones. And yeah, as I said, check out my review of Endless Loss and Channel Alter and yeah, all my other fun videos. Yeah, again, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Cheers.